Hey everyone, glad you could join us today. I don't know if you heard in the news recently, but a kayaker in New Zealand drowned while he was out in his kayak. The interesting thing about the story is that just moments before he lost his life in the kayaking accident, he had a Facebook Live video. And in that video, he realized that he was in trouble, ended up losing his life as a result of drowning. Last words sometimes are really important to us. Sometimes we remember the last words of people that are close to us. William Shakespeare, in his play Julius Caesar, writes that Julius Caesar's last words before he was assassinated was "Et tu, Brute," when he realized that his good friend and his protege Brutus was among the conspirators to assassinate him. In his death in 1981, Bob Marley said, "Money cannot buy life." And in 2018, in November of that year, when George H.W. Bush passed away, his last words were, "I love you too," as he said those to his son. This week, we have been talking about how you and I can pray for other believers in our lives. And today I want to talk to you about how we can pray for unity. And the reason why I referenced last words is one of Jesus' last prayers, when he was in the Mount of Olives, was praying that believers would have unity. In John chapter 17, verses 20 and 21 say this: "I do not ask on behalf of these alone, but for those who believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, even as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they also may be in us, that the world may believe that you sent me." Here, Jesus' last words were, "Father, I pray that believers would live in unity." Not just his disciples that were there with him on that day, but he said also those who believe as a result of their teaching. That means you and I. He prayed that you and I would live in unity. And notice the importance of unity. He says, "I want them to live in unity, that the world may know, that the world may believe that you sent me." What Jesus is saying, he's saying that unity in the church equals belief. And if that's true, then disunity in the church leads to disbelief. It has been said one time that maybe the greatest sin in the history of the church that has led to more souls being lost than any other sin is the sin of disunity. Paul reminds us of this in Romans chapter 15, verse 7, when he says, "Accept one another, even as Christ has accepted you." You see, we live in a time when people are going to have many different opinions about politics and many different opinions about how life works and many different opinions about what is most important in life. But here we are reminded that even though we are vastly different, he tells us that we are to live in unity. So maybe one of the greatest prayers that you can pray for other believers, and the greatest prayer that we can pray on behalf of the Church of Jesus Christ, is that we would be a testimony to the unbelieving world as we live in unity. And so even that person that sometimes is hard to get along with, we are to accept one another even as Christ has accepted us. So today, as you pray for believers in your life, pray for unity.